I think people that are left-leaning are a little concerned or disappointed about where the Labour Party is right now, and worried that it's going to be a sort of diluted kind of centrist, to some degree is what I see the Democrats are in America right now. It's this kind of quite diluted left-leaning-ish political party.
Unsure at the moment because the Labour guy is very champagne.
I celebrate the fact that I live in Brighton Pavilion, which has the only Green MP, well, it's had the only Green MP in the country.
Well, why do you think Green has been so popular in Brighton? What is unique about Brighton?
Which is cool.
Peeps, it's a general election. Peeps, it's a general election.
14 years ago, the Tories came into power, and so too did the Greens. 14 years ago, the Tories came into power, and so too did the Greens win their first ever Parliament seat here in Brighton. Caroline Lucas was their first ever MP. Peeps is here to find out what the people of Brighton are thinking and why the Green Party has been so popular here.
Well, my partner often says that the Green Party is the party of the ruling class, which you may not want to hear. I mean, I think Brighton has a sense of itself as, being a bit different. Whether that's true, I don't know, but I think it was possible to take a chance on a Green MP, and I think she's really shown her worth as being an alternative voice.
Well, give you a little example. There's a Facebook page which is called, I think, something along the lines of the Independent Republic of Brighton and Hove, and I think that says it all about what so many people in Brighton think. We're set apart from everybody else. We're a little sea of red and green, sea of sanity, and amongst all this sort of blue stuff around us. So that's why we like to think we're independent and a little bit different from everywhere else.
There's a sort of open-mindedness more generally. That's a kind of, I know people moved to Brighton for that reason. It's one of the reasons I certainly moved to Brighton, was a sense that it was kind of open. I think people have appreciated the emphasis on climate. Maybe it's living on the coast, living next to so much nature, that people become more aware of that as a key issue. And it is for the South perhaps more diverse. Like I have friends that live along the South, outside of Brighton. It's a more diverse area, perhaps.
Why I would vote Green is that I think we need much more in the way of information given to the public about climate change, how it's actually going to affect people, how it's affecting people now. Though in the world in general, people are dying because of climate change. They're moving from country to country because of climate change. And yet the general public in this country seem to be oblivious until it actually hits them.
Last election, I was very excited by Jeremy Corbyn and what was actually quite a modestly social democratic manifesto, but it felt quite radical at the time. I campaigned not in Brighton, I campaigned in Worthing, because I knew the Greens would get in. But I did vote Labour here, even though I really have appreciated Caroline Lucas as my Green MP. And I think, what's really distressed me over particularly the last sort of 6 to 9 months is that although Caroline Lucas always responded to me when I emailed her about Gaza and kept in touch and told me all the things she was doing, I hardly had a response at all from Keir Starmer. And when Tom Gray was elected, I was still a Labour Party member at that point. And so I wrote him several times saying, what is your position on Gaza? And he hasn't responded.
I'm voting for Green because I think we need more Green presence in Parliament. I'm not going to lie. I think that, we need better public services. We need to spend more money on public services. We need to increase taxation. I think that's the right thing to do. I think we need to have a healthy public, a healthy population. And without decent public services, that's never going to happen. We're just going to have more division, more unrest, everything else, the sort of casual racism that's been thrown around, it all comes down to public services, everything.
Yeah, Labour want their massive majority to be unchallenged by Green voices, when actually we'll be fantastic for a Labour government. We'll make it better, we'll give it good ideas, we'll just make sure they're doing things right, and we'll challenge them when they get things wrong.
Peeps, it's a general election. Peeps, it's a general election.
We saw your monster Raving Loony Party poster. Do you think you'll be voting for them, or is it a bit of a...
No, I will be voting for them because I detest the rest of them.
Yeah.
No, they're all abominable as far as I'm concerned.
Really?
Well, basically, the green lot around here, the council, for instance, I've got an old car. I'd consider that very eco-friendly because it's 39 years old. It lasts about 6 times as long as a modern pile of junk.
Yeah.
When the green lot were in the council, they put up my parking fee. When I lived in Exeter, it was £30 a month. They put it up from £120 to £230 in one go. Before they got booted out of the council, they were going to treble it to £6.90. All along Old Shoreham Road, they put in a cycle lane. One thing that was conspicuous by its absence was cycles. Basically, it caused congestion. It was a complete waste of money. And they put loads of signs saying, do not turn right into the recycling centre. There's a whole road of yellow signs. I wonder how much they cost. And then, after a few years of it not being used, they spent loads of money taking it away. They just seem completely obsessed by bicycles.
The Green Party only had overall control for the last maybe year or so of the last local administration, and they got a heck of a lot of stick for stuff that wasn't their fault, because there was previously a joint Labour-Green administration and prior to that a Labour administration. So a lot of the problems that the city has are actually down to Labour, not down to Green at all. But one of the main problems is that there just isn't enough money in local government, as basic as you were implying just now, throughout the country to do what people would like to do.
This election, do you think the Greens will get in Brighton?
Definitely, yeah. Sian will definitely win, but I'm not sure if it'll be as big a majority because Caroline Lucas got 33,000 or something. She seemed to just be a massive voice, relate everything to her own constituency, very local feel to her. Haven't fully read up on Sian yet, but I need to figure out what she did with that London election as well, because she just gave up her seat after a couple of days. Don't know what that was about.
Who treats the public the best, to be honest? Do you see where I'm coming from? That's going to be what it's down to, because everybody's just been ripped off so much recently with inflation, locked away with COVID and stuff. I think that it's just actually down to how people are feeling and obviously a better environment.
Do you think parties should be prioritising climate change and the climate emergency at the moment?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Most definitely, 100%. And the fact is, well, as I say, I think it's down to the people, and hopefully this year, obviously on the next election, it would be more of the public based rather than being the view of the higher power, if you could understand. What are you going to be voting for in this election coming up?
Labour.
And can you tell me a little bit about that? Why are you going to be voting Labour?
Yes, I've always been a Labour, a socialist really. When I was younger, I couldn't vote till I was 21, and I grew up in a very conservative family, but thought things through and thought, no, I'm going to vote Labour, and I've always voted Labour ever since. So I'm not very good about thinking of voting any other party, especially at the moment.
What do you think of Sian Berry then?
Well, I mean, I think she's very good. I think she's trying to do a very, very good job, but I don't think they'll get in this time, personally. Yes, no. I'm a great voter for Tom Gray. I think he'll get in, yes.
Yeah. The musician?
Yeah, I really like him, yes.
Have you seen him doorstepping? Have you seen him around the constituency at all?
I've seen him around and listened to him talk. I've been to a few meetings and things. Yeah, I think he comes across very well. I think he'll do a good job for us, so fingers crossed.
I've always been a Labour Party supporter. I'm a teacher, so it's kind of in my DNA to vote for Labour. I'm hoping that they'll think about education, all the topics that we think about, that we care about, and I think he might be able to change things here in Brighton. I thought Caroline Lucas was excellent. She's a brilliant MP, but I would never have voted for her.
Yeah, and Sian Berry changes things then?
I'm not really convinced about Sian. I don't think she's a local lady. She did knock on the doorstep and she seemed really lovely, really nice, but no, it's not going to change.
She knocked on the doorstep and then you got the Labour poster in the window.
Yeah. Yeah, keep them away. Yeah.
Obviously it's looking like we will be getting a Labour government. Are you excited about that?
Yes, I just think they're going to have an impossible job. Where's the money going to come from? I feel very sorry for whoever gets in, to be honest. I think they're going to struggle, I really do. But I think they'll make a better job of it than what we've had for the last 14 years.
The country's in such a mess that it's going to take 10 years to sort it out.
Yeah.
And
You think Labour have 10 years?
I wonder if they'll have their 4 or 5 years or whatever, and then people and then the right wing press will then say, you know, look, Labour haven't made any difference at all. Let's let the Tories back in to make a proper job of it, and they'll get back in.
Yeah,
but I mean,
that's the worry is that the work won't be seen done, because basically they're just filling all the patches that Conservatives have made. You know, great big holes, and they have to fill them all in.
People that are in this area that I know are voting Green, again, quite tactically. If there was a risk that Labour was, if there was a higher risk, I guess, that Labour, I mean, anything could happen, right? But but if there's a higher risk that Labour wasn't going to get in, I think people would maybe be more likely to vote Labour. But assuming that's the case, and people that I know, kind of a lot of what comes out of, you know, Keir Starmer's rhetoric around, not necessarily around immigration, but some around climate, economic policies, certainly around kind of criminal justice, which doesn't sit easy with me. And other people I know, I think they'd be voting Green for that reason. As a sort of tactical vote, certainly, but also because, you know, the Green Party policies are spot on.
People here are very much involved with what's going on in Brighton. Because the situation is dire, you know, for us down here. We're sitting on buses, we can't text on buses because the buses are going like this all the time with the potholes, you know. So people have been driven mad by that. And, you know, we hear about what's going on in London with this stupid, you know, ULEX tax, you know, with the £25. We don't want things like that coming up, you know, in the country. No, well, we don't really, do we?
Well, I think we do, really, don't we? Because
we started something dangerous here. Yeah. Yeah.